Welcome on YouTube and welcome on Facebook. I called this one, Oh Infinite One, Choose. Now, we're going to start out by talking a little bit about different quotes by Greg Braden and Yuval Noah Harari. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But what I want to show you right now is I want to just give you some information. Consciousness informs itself in what it creates. What does that mean? It means that from our consciousness in the potential in the field, we are divinely human on this planet. And what that means is that the consciousness informs ourself in a creative life. Now, what is a creative life? Well, you determine what that is. Is it art? Is it music? Is it communication? But we're not living here anchored down into our humanity in fear and shame. We're moving in the power of our divinity. So we are divinely human. Now, what does that mean? To be divinely human. Well, human was first recorded in the mid 13th century, the definition, and owes its existence to the Middle French humain of belonging to man. That word, in turn, comes from the Latin humanus, thought to be a hybrid relative of homo, meaning man. What does it mean? You're of the earth. It means that you are in time for such a time as this, and you are of the earth, but you're connecting with source, your higher self, to experience life here in this realm. You don't negate your life, you don't toss it away. You experience life in your creativity. That consciousness informs you how to create your life. Now, consciousness creates in you, through you, and as you. An example, when asked the true creators how they get their songs, there's a heart resonance in them that they think they get it from a higher place, or they know they get it from a higher place. Uh, Call it the field, call it potential, call it source, however you want to define that. But they know that it doesn't come just through their brain. It comes from their experience. It comes through their knowledge and how they've lived their life in their heart. So what happens is that we're going to talk about AI today, and I'm going to download this video really fast before YouTube, Facebook tries to take it off. So AI, or any form of AI, any form of artificial intelligence, whether it's ChatGPT to do your writing, whether it's so many things, there are beneficial advantages to AI when the person creating the AI has a spiritual moral compass, who has empathy and compassion. That's not the bulk of people that are creating it. That's just my opinion. So if you're going to use ChatGPT to write a book or use it in any way to alleviate your creativity, what it becomes then, the equation is AI plus you equals AI, not you. And we're going to explore that today. So it becomes quite obvious to you to anchor into your humanity, live in your intuition, use these products as they become available, or they're going to be forced on us. There's a whole variety of opinions. So AI decouples you from your internal creativity, and your intuition receives from the field, from source. And in AI, if you're going to use it to write something, you're going to bypass your intuition and your true authenticity, which resides in the heart, and use a machine mediator to create. Over time, that's going to affect your intuition. It's going to affect your brain. It's going to affect your heart, because you're going to give over a lot of that which you were placed in this realm to experience, to do. You're going to give it over to an algorithm or a machine. So I'm going to look at some quotes right now that differ in many ways. And these are just examples right now of two timelines that are forming. Living a creative life and being divinely human, focusing on the beautiful internal journey, living a life attached to AI as the mediator that facilitates your life. And let me just tell you, I read a lot of posts in various ways, and you're going to get to the point where we can't tell the difference. But right now we still can. And the posts that are written by people posting posts that they use AI to complete their thoughts, you can tell they have no life in it. It has no heart intelligence in it. Now, if you can't tell, I would ask you to learn to lean into your intuition, because you can tell that it goes on and it's perfected with excess words that somehow fail to have the emotional intelligence of the heart that's resident. At least I can tell. So let's look at a few examples of some quotes, okay? So bear with me, and let's read these carefully. We're going to look at Greg Braden and Yuval Noah Harari. Greg Braden, as many of us know, is the author, as a scientist, and he just put out a book called Pure Human. It's going to be out at the end of January. It's not out at the current time. But then we're going to contrast his statements with a gentleman named Yuval Noah Harari, who was also an author and is part of the elite crowd at Davos for the World Economic Forum. I like to think of him, in my opinion, as Klaus Schwab's personal prophet. Now, these two quotes side by side are going to show you the difference in what's coming, what is now, and what is greatly coming to control our life. So let me get started. The first quote is by Greg Braden, and he says, "You can manifest the life you truly want with clear intention, emotional intelligence, and imagination. Like it or not, your life is what you have chosen." So when you choose the divine aspect of knowing you are in time for such a time as this, then you take responsibility for your life to be imaginative. You don't buy into any narrative that tries to co-opt your humanity or your intuition. It's very simple. Any mediator that tries to take away your sovereignty, your freedom, and your imagination is not the way you want to go. Now, right now, we have a choice. It's coming a day, though, where you're not going to have a choice. Everything's going to be digital, and I'll show you in a minute. So then you have Yuval Noah Harari, which says this. Get this. The most important question in the 21st century economics may well be, what should we do with all the superfluous people once we have highly intelligent, non-conscious algorithms that can do almost everything better than human? Now, what's he saying? He's saying when the non-conscious algorithms, which control social media, which come from AI, which come from techies, they are non-conscious, even though they believe consciousness resides in the brain. These non-conscious algorithms will have the ability to know what you think, how you think, and they will form the path of your life. They will do it better than you. Now, is this a reality? You damn well better believe it, because a lot of people right now are buying into the algorithms. Relationships are falling down the side. Families are non-existent. Just going out to meet with people compared to just like 5 or 6 years ago is almost irrelevant right now. Everything is done on social media, and I don't buy into it anymore. So contrast this with the first statement. Once we have highly intelligent, non-conscious algorithms, superfluous people, there's no respect there. Now let's go back to Braden. Through the power of our forgotten inner technology, we have an inner technology. It's called the brain. It's called the heart. It's called the heart-brain coherence. It's called synchronicities. It's called intuition. It's called experience. Through that inner technology, which many of us have not experienced. We've just bought into the narrative of religion or government or whatever, and we've followed along the path that they've laid out without giving any credence to our inner technology. But once you go back to the divine humanity of your existence, you can heal, you can bilocate, you can be everywhere at once, you can remote view, you could connect telepathically, you can choose peace and do everything in between. This is hope. This gives us hope that everything that's trying to be co-opted in our humanity, which religion did incredibly well by telling you to sit in a seat and believe in the duality of heaven and hell and a savior's coming, which is all BS, because it was never projected into us to trust ourselves. We have an inner technology that in the coming days is going to force us into a choice. Are you courageous? Are you bold? Are you able to press past all the BS into who you are? So now let's look at another one. This is Yuval again. The idea that humans will always have a unique ability beyond the reach of non-conscious algorithms is just wishful thinking. What's he saying? He's saying that whether you like it or not, tech is going to control you. Because, folks, we are so past the timeline. Everything's going to go digital. It's happening all over the world. There is a plan behind this. You can call it conspiracy or whatever you want. I believe the plan is transhumanism to make us interconnected to machines. And if you don't believe me, then just move on. You'll see in the coming days. So the idea that humans will always have a unique ability beyond the reach of non-conscious algorithms is just wishful thinking. I think that maybe the most important thing for people to realize about living in the 21st century as against the Middle Ages or the Stone Age is that we are now hackable animals. Hackable, meaning they know everything about you and it's only going to increase. They know everything that you do, everything that you say, and it's only going to increase. Now, there will be a split in the timeline, and you will have to choose whether you want an organic life, and it will cost you in some ways. But do you want to go the other way? Do you really want to go the other way where that your humanity is nothing more than a slave mentality in a system ruled by people that have no ability to respect you? Now let's look at something Brayton says. The power of imagination is the essence of our existence. Well, if you're going to leave your imagination on the side and you're not going to take it into account, if you're going to have AI do your writing, do your thinking, do your planning, or your digital assistants coming right by you and planning out your day, you're going to lose the power of your imagination. That's just common sense. Whereas imagination is the essence of our existence. To imagine, I did some Facebook Lives a while back about the imaginal realm. The imaginal realm is where we come face to face with who we are. The power of imagination exists in the field, exists in the potential of the field. This is the essence of our existence. This is our I am. It wasn't just Jesus that said, I am that I am. He was no more God than you are. He was maybe sent here with a purpose. Do you know your purpose? Do you know the essence of your existence? Not what you do. You cannot do something beyond the essence of your existence. Do you know why you're here? Then he goes on to say, we're creators, and even more than that, we're connected creators. Well, now let's give a little look as to what old Yuval says. I strongly believe that given the technologies we are now developing, within a century or two at most, our species will disappear. I don't think that at the end of the 22nd century, the Earth will still be dominated by Homo sapiens. Really? This is not just fallacy. This is not just memes. This is not just things that are out there. This is real, folks. These people in the World Economic Forum are forging this path that they're making it believe so astounding, so wonderful that you now have a digital assistant, which, by the way, eventually you have to give over all your information to so that you can no longer live your life. And if you don't believe that, you're blind. It's the end of the 21st century, 22nd century. The earth will not be dominated by Homo sapiens. So there is a choice we're facing right now. Will you rise in consciousness to trust that you are here for the purpose of moving in the divinity in your humanity? Do you believe that? If you're just sitting around scrolling all day, then no, you don't believe it. If you're just complaining, depressed, fearful, then you're buying into a narrative that controls you like a cloud over your life. Do you actually know who you are? Because you're going to have to know who you are. And I'm right there with you. In the midst of this transition, when Brian and Christian and I did the last Facebook Live, we're falling through the void. And we're having our senses turned on to see past the illusions. And it's time to be bold. It's time to confront the bullshit. It's time to stand up and not be afraid if anybody likes you. Wrong, right, or otherwise, you've got to take chances. Now let's look at another verse or another statement by Greg Braden. He says, the world around us is nothing more and nothing less than a mirror of what we have become from within. Now, think about that, okay? Let's just sit here for a minute. Think about it. The world around us mirrors what we are. Why do you think they're controlling the energy and the frequency of fear? It's dominating the planet. And if you listen to any futurist talk, you'll see that fear is going to come like this. They're not going to let you rest. So you have to make a conscious decision that what you're going to mirror out is coming from within. If there is love within, and I'm not talking about woo-woo love. I'm talking about a love that is powerful, a love that challenges and experiences your biology, a love that knows you are your biology, that you sometimes don't have to buy into the system, that organically you can change your health, you can change your emotions, you can change your vision. But this is not going to come from a passive group of people just sitting around doing nothing. This is going to come when you realize you're mirroring out what you've become from within. So quantum science, and I was a math science major. I love science. I'm going back into it. Suggests the existence of many possible futures for each moment of our lives. That's the multiverse. That has yet to be proven, but it's something to think about. Each future lies in a state of rest until it is awakened by choices made in the present. And forget that, I forgot to delete that subheading. So everything you do in the now is going to it's going to mirror what you're experiencing. I believe we're in a construct. I believe we're in a simulation, but we're not being controlled in this simulation unless you want to be controlled. There are people trying to control the simulation, but the simulation, the construct that you're in, is meant to be a beautiful experience of your humanity. It's about experience, people. It's about actions. And if you look on social media, it's words upon words upon words. Are you living life? Have you given up everything you are to a digital age? Or are you living life in nature? Are you communicating with nature because it has a consciousness? Are you knowing you're in a construct where you're going to rise up into another realm or a plane or however you want to call it? Are you experiencing life now? Are you enjoying life now? Forget about everything else. Go with your children out, have more children. Deny the system. I'm so passionate about this. Now, again, let's look at old Yuval and what he has to say. Oh, and folks, his books are filled with this stuff. Just Google him and look on YouTube, and he is not afraid to say what he believes. As far as we can tell from a purely scientific viewpoint, human it drives me crazy when I read this stuff. Human life has absolutely no meaning. No, human is the beauty. It's not morose. It's not gross. It's of the earth. Your human life is connected to this planet. Or why are you here? Maybe when you pass on, you won't be in this plane anymore. You'll be in another plane. So, are you enjoying your human life? Yes, it comes with suffering and it comes with hardships at times, but that's part of humanity. We need to learn to rise up all along the way. Humans, listen to what he says here. Humans are the outcome of blind evolutionary processes that operate without goal or purpose. Our actions are not part of some divine cosmic plan. And if planet Earth were to blow up tomorrow morning, the universe would probably keep going about its business as usual. As far as we can tell at this point, human subjectivity would not be missed. Hence, any meaning that people ascribe to their lives is just a delusion. These people are the people that meet. Calm down, Deborah. It's so obvious, but I see so many blind people. I'm in California. This state is insane. There's people that are so out to lunch, they won't even look at the possibility of anything other than living this bubble that's constructed out of their own reality, and it's a lie most of the time. This life is not a delusion. This gentleman is part of the World Economic Forum at Davos, the same people that said you will own nothing and be happy. You will be connected to a digital age, and hell, you don't have to worry about your humanity. There's no purpose for you here. Do you believe that? Do you really believe that? I cannot believe that. So here's the deal. Choose right now, this day. Okay, I gotta be me, and you gotta be you. And for a long time, like I said on the last short Facebook Live I did, I was always vacillating between being truly me. I either had to keep everything spiritual or I had to keep things. I always questioned myself, people. I'm not questioning myself anymore. I'm not. I'm going to be who I am. Some will leave, some will join, but I want the pioneers. I want the forerunners that are going to come and we're going to move out, and we don't give an F about what anybody thinks because we know we are in time for such a time as this. And if I sound passionate, it's because I've had dream after dream after dream that this is my purpose. It is to tell you that you are divinely human and you are brilliant, and science proves it. Spirituality reveals it, that unless you are, don't look to get out of here, look to be here right now. So now let me share with you a couple other things that I have on my notes. Yes, I'm passionate, and when I get passionate, I get a little bit crazy. That's why I was a great charismatic preacher, because I didn't give a shit about what anybody thought. And I was loud and crazy. And then I got shut down. And then I lost so much, but now I'm regaining it. So let me go through the rest of my notes. Here's some other quotes. This is a quote by Stephen Hawking. He's a scientist. And he says the development of full AI could spell the end of the human race. It would take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever increasing rate. Humans, who are limited by slow biological evolution, couldn't compete and would be succeeded. Our evolution is not quick. Why is that? Because there's a beauty in every age we're at. There's so much BS out there that's trying to make people think that, look, I got wrinkles, folks. I'm 70. I got wrinkles. I got a knee that bothers me sometimes. I embrace it, folks. I'm not going to try to look younger, act younger. You know why? Because in my heart, I am young. Don't buy the line that says that you always have to compete at a certain level to be an influencer or to be out there, to be making an impression. Those type of impressions are useless. Bruce Lipton says, "You are not just a physical being, but a spiritual being having a human experience." Albert Einstein says, "I fear the day when technology overlaps with our humanity. The world will only have a generation of idiots." And then Eric Holdeman, who's an emergency guy, he's in government, he says, "One complaint that I have heard from professors and others is that the generation of young people now entering the workplace don't know how to communicate. They are poor writers, and their coordination and collaboration skills are lacking. Some of this would have to be a direct result of their being wedded or married to their digital assistants." Is sex going by the wayside? Is fertility going by the wayside? Is our humanity going by the wayside? Yeah, I think it is. And it happened, and it was a planned event about 5 years ago, if you know what I mean. So, Ray Kurzweil, who's the author of The Singularity, he believes, if you've ever done research on him, he believes that we're heading toward a singularity where man will integrate with machines and a certain amount of people will control the planet. Well, that is what they believe at the World Economic Forum. He believes this. By the time we get to the 2040s, we'll be able to multiply human intelligence a billionfold. That will be a profound change that's singular in nature. Computers are going to keep getting smaller and smaller. Ultimately, are you ready? They will go inside our bodies and brains and make us healthier and smarter. I say no. So the other day, now let me get to a point. The pioneers are rising up. Like I said, there's people called to take people over the bridge, but that would be incredibly boring to me. But if that's your focus, more power to you. I respect you and honor you in what you feel your purpose is. But I'm called to go into the great unknown. All my life, I have traveled around the world. I have traveled through, back when I was in so called ministry, I traveled all around the world praying in cities, responding to my intuition to just go when I felt that source or God said go. I was a pioneer, and somehow I lost it by being shut down in conformity. In conformity. So right now, the pioneers are being talked to in their hearts, and they're being told, "Don't play it safe. What do you really want to say? Are you afraid of saying the truth? Are you afraid of being you? Do you feel dumb or fearful? Do you feel not smart? Do you feel put down and less than or depressed? Get over it, folks. Get healed. Get free. It may be a journey. I'm not denouncing anybody's pain or sorrow right now. You don't know me, some of you. I've been through the deepest pain and the deepest sorrow in so many ways all of my life, and I've had to bounce up. So, the pioneers, what's a pioneer? It's the first to explore or settle a new country or a new world. What kind of world do you want to see? I believe we have a choice. A pioneer is willing to try new things. Are you always dependent upon one book or one belief system? Or do you integrate things? Have you lost your critical thinking? Do you explore things out there that challenge the essence of who you are? Are you led forth in synchronicities and intuition that form a really distinct path for you, which may not be my path, but we need each other in our creativity. There's a new world waiting and giving us an invitation to move out. Pioneers push the boundaries to advance a cause or an idea, but they do so in love. I'm not trying to influence the millions. I'm just trying to resonate to people who are in the same part of the field that I am. I'm not trying to push an idea. What I'm trying is to light the fire in you, to see you go your way. And I just can't handle it when you go down the page on Facebook and everybody's always repeating the same things. Break out of it, people. You have a distinct creativity within you, and only you can show you who you are. So we are in a different conscious flow in relation. It is a war. There is a war going on. There is evil on the planet, but it's not like we've been taught in religion. It's not. It's an evil energy of people that are sending forth this low frequency because they're captured by a weedical virus and they're evil. It's called, and then they draw people into what's called a mass psychosis formation to relegate their lives and give up everything. It is called the elites, people. It is called the elites. Aren't you tired of billionaires who have no idea what our lives are like, making laws and trying to control the very essence of our humanity? Do not be deceived and don't fall for the narrative. So here's what I feel. Now, in my generation, this is just going to go on a little while longer, so bear with me. How do I say this? In my generation, we didn't use the F word. Back when I was in school and in high school and university, anyone that used the F word was like, ooh, they've crossed the line. Can any of you over 65 relate to that? But now it's passed around freely. And I got to tell you, it's one of my favorite words. So this is what I wrote. The foundation of your world right now is the F word. And I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get banned from Facebook. So you have to form that as the foundation in love. There is a way to say the F word in love. It doesn't have to be in anger. So when an idea comes to you, you say F you. When people try to use advantage in your heart, you say F you. You rise up as a warrior. You say F off. You say F this, and you say, what the F? You question everything that is trying to fragment the formation of your foundation. So what the F? So if you're angry right now, then turn it into passion. Your anger is anchored into repetition. And that's what the mainstream media is always trying to do, go round and round. And we see it in California government. They're narcissistic liars who just keep avoiding any type of forward momentum and any type because they don't care. They want to keep you angry and just repeat the same things over and over. But why don't you turn that into an internal passion? Why don't you take passivity and turn it into courage, not trying to prove yourself? Why don't you take the illusion of the bubble that they're trying to force us in and you go into internal truth? And only you will know. I don't want to take this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go this way. Don't question it. Start out by trusting your intuition, and maybe sometimes you'll get it wrong. But that is the learning because intuition comes as a subtle nuance. Okay, so you're going to have to walk this path. If you're not used to moving in your intuition, then you're going to have to start trusting yourself and say F you to everything around you. You're going to lose people. But the F you is said in love, folks. It's not said in anger. It's not said in frustration. It may start out that way, but then you take it and it forms and it gets entangled in the foundation where when somebody comes to you and says, no, you need to do that, you may not say it, but in your heart's going to say, F off. I'm not going that way. So we're going to turn fear to love. But this is a love that we have not yet experienced yet. It is a powerful love. It is a love that is challenging. It is a love that is empowering. It is a love that is not based upon just emotion. It is a love that has you stand tall, and stand courageous. So now, what's the next step? I'm facing a lot of decision and I've been asking, what's the next step? And I heard something really interesting. I suddenly, as I was journaling, what's my next step? I saw, I heard very clearly within me, take your focus on the question because that anchors you in time. And I had to think about that for a while. And I thought to myself, take your focus off the question because that anchors you in time. And then I began to see that if you're going to ask what's the next step, you're going to be looking down at your feet. So it's time not to look down. It's time to look up at the horizon of possibilities and walk one step at a time in the now. It is a time when you're not looking down, and you're not captured by fear to where you're so expansive that for a while you may not know what you're even doing. You may not know where you're even going, but that's okay. I've been there. I still am there to a certain extent. I see the expansive. I know in my heart that I'm in time for such a time as this. I know that I'm brilliant. I don't always know what to do with it. So I move in the direction that my intuition is calling me, and I don't get anchored down in the step by step. And here's a fun this is a funny example. I'm having a bit of problems with my knee. I have a great orthopedic doctor, and I've decided to try holistic ways of healing, and it's working. So the other day I bought these trekking poles. And because I was a little concerned one day about how I was walking, so I got these trekking poles and they made me brave. But you know what? When you use the trekking poles, you can't look down at your feet. You got to just form the rhythm of walking. And I've been using them and laughing because I know that they were put in my life because it was to teach me a lesson. So when I took small steps, you could ask my family. I took these small steps and I was like fearful because I didn't know what I was doing. And so now with the trekking poles, with the assistance of that which was put in my life for now, then I'm taking bolder steps. I'm looking not at the small steps, I'm looking at the expansive steps that I'm taking. You're also, when you're looking down, you're looking at limited potential rather than possibility that lies out there. And again, there's no 10 steps to this. There's no way to tell you how to do this or what to do, because I believe that a lot of where we've placed our focus on channelers, on life coaches, and all that, yes, they have a purpose. I'm not denying that. But for many of us, we're past that. There's no answers. It's only repetition because we've been trained to get to this point in our life that when we know that's something that triggers us, we're going to go inside and say, why do I do this? And then we're going to be still. And our higher self, our divine self, is going to tell us. So there is potential in the field. What's your potential? What is your possibility? Can you even see it? And the last thing is the most powerful thing. When you're looking down, when I was looking down at my walking, I had fear because this is like, my knees are great, but I've experienced some things that you just do. It's called ageism. You're this age and you experience certain things that you may not experience when you're 40. When I was looking down, I was so focused on the way I was walking that I almost encapsulated a walking mode of fear, which made me more susceptible to falling. Do you hear me? That when I was so focused on looking down, that took my balance off and it almost made me more susceptible to falling. But when I believe that I am my biology, and when I believe that I'm looking forward, and God always tends to show me in the natural when I'm going through in my intuition. I don't use one trekking pole. When I used it, it was like I looked ahead. It was almost like my life was confirming exactly the path I'm taking. So I want to leave you with this. It is a season to explore, engage, and experience. Explore your life, leave some things behind, enter into a period of nothingness where everything that seemed to work doesn't work anymore, and begin to explore and have your intuition put books and podcasts and friends and nature and where to go and what to do and what to be and what to experience each and every day. Even if you have responsibilities, you can do it in the midst of responsibilities, whether you have a job or whether you have a family. That energy is going to go off on your kids, and it's going to go off on your partner. It's going to go off, and it's going to cultivate a field of possibility and love and potential. So then exploring isn't enough. You have to engage that which you see before you, and you have to take a step in that direction. And that is where fear will come in for various reasons. And then what happens is then you experience. My life has been built upon experience. And when I lost it over the past 5 years due to grief and whatever else was coming in my life, now that I'm getting it back, how I'm getting it back is I just like me. I don't want to be like anybody else. I don't want to be calm. Everybody used to tell me you're too much. Well, then move on. Maybe you need a speaker that's a little slower, or maybe you need a speaker that's going to give you step by step. That's not me. When you leave these lives, you're going to feel an energy in you if you allow yourself to open up to it. So I thank every one of you for watching. I'll read the comments in a minute. Um, this is such an incredible time to be alive. But when it is an incredible time to be alive, there's situations and people and conditions that are evil. I don't know how to say it. If you deny evil, then you're living in an illusion. There is evil all around us. It is a very low level frequency because all is light. So what is evil? It's a low level frequency with very minimal light. So thank you for watching. I'm on a new path. I hope this encouraged you. I hope I want to start interacting more with what I'm trying to teach. I'm a visual learner, so I'm going to get an app called StreamYard that I could put up a picture right next to me, and we're going to go into the picture and we're going to learn what the picture is saying. I'm clairaudient and I'm clairsentient. I get words and statements and images, and I want to be me. Do you want to be you, to get to the point where in all courage and boldness and braveness, you simply say, you look up and say, I am that I am. When you get to that point, then creativity and authenticity, and it's all going to flow in your life. So I hope you've enjoyed this.